Avinash in Mumbai, India writes, the Pioneer SA 8500 weighed a ton. Now this is an old receiver. It had a phenomenal output power, also looked great with their shiny steel casing. The double bass, treble controls, switches to adjust the bass and treble turnover frequencies, tone defeat switches, oh my goodness, what else we got? Low and high pass filters, mute switches, VU meters, loudness control, and whatnot. Even the speakers had great looks and used to have a speaker mounted controls for adjusting the individual output levels of the mid and hi-fi drivers. What a crime that the designers of modern amplifiers, like PS Audio, have stopped providing even the most basic and essential loudness controls. You can call me a freak who likes to fiddle around, but I truly feel exasperated with the lack of controls on modern amplifiers. Why has modern audio become so boring? Do you feel the glorious days of vintage audio amplifiers will ever come back? God, I hope not. Sorry, Avinash. I know that's not what you want to hear. I, of course, in my geezer age here of, how old am I? I'm 76 years old, by God. I, of course, started out in that golden age where we had knobs and bells and whistles and so let's break it down a little bit. First off, let's start out, why did we have all of that stuff? Well, we had all those bells and whistles and knobs and EQs because the systems that we built back then were inadequate. A lot inadequate. Loudspeakers. I mean, what you could buy for a loudspeaker back then really sucked. Didn't have any bottom end. The top end was completely inadequate. Now that doesn't cover everything because we had things like the Klipsch heresy. We had decent sounding beginnings of systems that would eventually become industry standards. Like one of the first high-end systems I ever saw was this huge Frankenstein arrangement of Janssen electrostats for the top end. I forgot what we had for the mid-range, and then Serwin Vegas for the bottom end. I mean, it was, but this was something that almost nobody had the skill or the money to assemble. The typical system back then was a receiver and a pair of speakers, probably two-way, maybe three-way. And I had such a system. I had a Kenwood, had a lot of bells and whistles on it, and I had to do it. I had to crank the bass up, I had to crank the treble up to get my speakers to even be flat. It just, that's kind of like asking why cars today don't have all this fancy ability to advance the timing so that you get a boost of energy and big turbos on the top of the thing and extra high energy spark plug and all that kind of good stuff. We don't need it anymore. It just, that was part of the time and part of the inadequacies of the system. And today you have loudspeakers that cover far beyond the range of human hearing, and they're not like multi-million-dollar speakers. You can get these for a couple of grand, and you have a beautiful pair of speakers. Amplifiers today, full range, low distortion, all the power you need without any kind of compression, and that's kind of standard fare today. So do you need bass and treble controls? Nope, never. But let me just put that aside. We still have the problem of crappy recordings. And most bad recordings today, and there are so many of them, I mean, the recording industry is getting worse and worse, while the reproduction industry is getting better and better, which is kind of I was going to say a shame, but that's a problem. But anyway, for a different discussion. And their bass and treble controls aren't really going to help you. You need a decompression control. Sounds like scuba diving. So anyway, That's why, and thank goodness we're not going back to that era. So, all right, take it easy.